Hi everyone, I'm Leah of seejanedrill. Now today's video, I gotta tell you something, I haven't used soap since 1982. I'm gonna tell you all about it coming up next. Now whether I'm working inside my shop or I'm outside in the elements, writing the rain all-weather notebooks, keep my notes in good shape. Write in the rain notebooks, repel rain, sweat, and grime. So before I became a trades instructor, I worked every day on construction sites. One day, me and the fellows, we were all standing around a mortar table. I think it was probably coffee break time. We were all having coffee. And this guy, Ralph, kept looking at me. And finally, he said, "Leah, nobody's ever going to want to hold those hands." And he was talking about me. And the room grew silent. And I looked at my hands because I was going to come back with something good, okay? And I realized that my hands looked like crap, and he was absolutely right. Nobody was going to want to hold these hands. I had calluses on calluses. They were really just scuffed up real bad, cracked a lot. They were just really rough, okay? So I went home that night. And I don't know if they still sell these things, but they're Playtex, I think they call them Playtex living gloves, okay? I slathered my hands with Vaseline before I went to bed, and I put on those gloves, and that was my plan. I knew that I was going to wake up in the morning, take those gloves off, and my hands were going to be beautiful, okay? Well, I took the gloves off the next morning, and all I had were really greasy, messed up hands. That was it. And so I think that maybe it was shortly after, maybe a month after that whole conversation at coffee break time, that I noticed one of the painters, and this is a guy that I talk to almost every day at the time clock, okay? I looked over at Stasha's hands, and they were really, well, they were quite nice, okay? And he was a guy that was close to retirement. He was up in his 60s. And I said, "Wow, Stash, your hands look really nice." And he said, and I told him a story about what Ralph had told me. He said, "Don't worry about Ralph, Leah. My hands used to be just like yours. I had the same problem." And he said, "I experimented a little bit, and this is what I came up with." So he said, "Table salt." And I said, "What?" He said, "Leah, use table salt on your hands when you wash up at the end of the day, and it will leave your hands so clean and so revitalized. You'll be amazed." So that's how I went from hands that Ralph said, "Leah, nobody's going to ever want to hold those hands," to really beautiful, luxurious hands that everyone wants to hold. I don't know about that. But here's the thing. I've used salt to wash my hands at the end of a workday ever since. So here's one last bonus tip for you, and it has to do with oil-based paint. See that big splotch of oil-based paint on my hand? Well, Stash the painter said this. He said he never, ever, ever uses a solvent on his skin. He would just wipe it off really well. And he said instead of using like a thinner or mineral spirits, just a little olive oil. And olive oil on a rag will take oil-based paint right off your skin. Because when you really think about it, well, your skin is the largest organ in your body. And if you use a solvent on your skin, it's going to sop that chemical up like a sponge. So use something that's good for your skin, like olive oil, and it takes it right off. Before we go, I want to point out to you that Write in the Rain all-weather notebooks have sponsored seejanedrill for the last month, and we have really appreciated it. Thank you, Write in the Rain. But I also want to say this. Show them a little love. There is a link in the description below that if you are a seejanedrill subscriber or you are watching this channel, they'll give you 15% off. Check it out for yourself, because what I will tell you is I've been using Write in the Rain all-weather notebooks for about the last year, and I love them. So as always, this is Leah saying, you can do this. See you next time.